what can you tell us about Bortles and the Jaguars, which is the topic du jour? I know you've been head scratching over the fact that they picked up his option.
Yeah, I think I was on your I was on this show when it happened, and
Correct.
I mean they had to carry me out of here. Right. I went to rehab immediately after that. I mean it was like remarkable. Like, who's your competition for Blake Bortles? Like, who was coming after him? $19 million, and if he gets hurt, now they can walk away from it. I mean, this happened to RG3 in Washington.
But they had to sit him all season to make sure that they could walk away from him.
Exactly. So if he goes out there and he plays, but look, I've learned this in the NFL. When you make a mistake, you got to own up to it. I've made them. We all make them. Everybody makes them. Guys in the Hall of Fame, whether it's Bill Polian, who's been a general manager, or George Young, all of us make mistakes. It's when you don't own up to it. And David Caldwell just refuses to have any objectivity with this.
Well, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with Bortles?
Bortles has I wrote a piece for The Ringer back in April about having 7 qualities off the field that you have to have. And one of them is when your mama lifts you from the crib, you either have it or you don't. And you have that instinct, that innate ability to let the ball go. When you played in Staten Island and I played in Ocean City, you would throw, we would go out for routes and the quarterback would see you open and he'd throw it to you, right? Well, that don't work in pro football. You got to anticipate the guy being open. You got to anticipate the throw. There's an anticipation. He don't have it. He's a robot. He's out there just throwing, and he has no feel for the game. He has no rhythm. Bill Walsh talked about rhythm and timing and all those things. Blake doesn't have any of those.
Well, Coughlin's got to see that, right? Coughlin knows it.
I mean, look, right? I see it I'm not saying I'm smarter than anybody else, but it's been obvious for 2 years. And the crap that I hear, Blake was coming back. I mean, ESPN put that graphic up yesterday. He had a good year. It was junk yards. It would be like me leading the NBA in rebounding because I get all the missed free throws. Like, they don't count. Nobody contests missed free throws in the NBA. You get 8 of those and you got 8 rebounds a year, right? A night. Blake Bortles was getting yards. He's never been able to get first quarter touchdowns. He gets behind and he gets all this yardage. So stop looking at the stats and watch the tape. It's obvious. $19 million.
So ask him the poll question, Brockman. Ask him the poll question here.
Yeah, Wombo, who should be the Jags starting quarterback? Blake Bortles, Chad Henne, Colin Kaepernick?
Well, look, I think Colin Kaepernick is not the issue I have about Colin Kaepernick is his play, but he's better than Blake Bortles. Like, he's better than Blake Bortles. I mean, Blake Bortles doesn't really – you could just see Blake Bortles' body language. We talk about Jay Cutler's body language. Blake Bortles' body language is, please rescue me. Please, somebody help me. I can't do this. I can't do it. He can see there's no confidence in him, Rich. Would you want to get in a huddle with that? Like, you want somebody to come in the huddle and say, look, guys, you got to protect. We're going to do the boom. You got to have some leadership skills. Last night I saw a guy just barely hanging on.
So how do you answer that poll question?
I would sign Kaepernick. I would sign somebody. The answer to my question is he's not currently on the roster. If I'm Tom Coughlin today, I'm trying to trade for Brett Hundley. I'm trying to see if Jimmy Garoppolo's can pry him loose. That won't happen.
Really?
I would try everything.
You really think that the Jaguars today could pick up the phone and call Bill Belichick and say, what do you got for me?
Well, I mean, they practiced against him. They watched Garoppolo play. It was pretty obvious.
No. This has nothing to do with Garoppolo's resume. This has to do with just
like
pulling out all the stops to say, like, why would New England on the eve of the season want to give up the Brady insurance?
I'm not trying to throw a fire. I'm saying I would make every phone call possible. I'd call Brett Hundley. I would find any way I could solve this problem, because the one thing I do know for sure, the answer isn't in Jacksonville. I like Chad Henne, but I just don't think Chad Henne is going to be able to do it. I know Bortles can't do it. So if I'm Tom Coughlin, I've got to have some way to do it. And he did it. Tom's done this before. He took Mark Brunell, 5th-round draft pick that Ron Wolf turned around and gave him to him for a 3rd-round pick. I mean, that made his franchise. Tom knows what he has to do.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you liked some of that, get some more of that on the Rich Eisen Show app. Follow all the information you see right here on the Rich Eisen Show.